The ache of loving you. The rain hadn't stopped for 3 days. Maya stood at the window of her apartment, watching droplets race down the glass, merging and separating in patterns that seemed to mirror the chaos in her heart. Behind her, the coffee she'd made an hour ago sat untouched on the kitchen counter, a thin film forming on its surface. She couldn't remember the last time she'd finished a cup of coffee, or a meal, or a thought that didn't eventually circle back to him. Loving Daniel had become an ache so familiar that she sometimes forgot what it felt like to exist without it. It lived in her chest, just beneath her sternum, a constant pressure that intensified whenever her phone buzzed or when she caught a glimpse of someone with his particular shade of dark hair on the street. The ache had weight and texture. It was heavy like waterlogged fabric, and it clung to her ribs the way morning fog clings to a valley. They had met in the most ordinary way possible, at a bookstore on a Tuesday afternoon. Maya had been reaching for a collection of poetry by Mary Oliver when another hand had appeared, fingers brushing against hers. She'd looked up to find warm brown eyes and an apologetic smile. "Sorry," he'd said, pulling his hand back. "I've been looking for this for weeks." "Me too," she'd replied, and they'd both laughed, that awkward, nervous laugh of strangers who've accidentally touched. "We could share it," he'd suggested, and somehow that simple joke had turned into coffee at the shop next door, which had turned into dinner that same evening, which had turned into 3 years of the most beautiful and devastating love Maya had ever known. The problem, though calling it a problem felt too clinical, too small, was that Daniel was married. He'd told her,